Good evening, everyone. This is Casey Reginald Jr.
It's your man J-Dub, a.k.a. Justin Waters.
Welcome to Underdawg Sportz. All right, everybody, welcome to the show. We got a lot to cover. Just to get us started, we're going to talk a little bit about AB, and we're going to talk a little bit more about AB. We're also going to cover Daniel Jones' ascension in New York. We're going to talk a little bit about Todd Gurley, Cam Newton, and, of course, we're going to talk about our teams. With that, we're going to Pittsburgh's favorite son, J-Dub.
Really? Did you say, I love that. I'm your favorite son. I thought you was about to say AB was your favorite son. Like, really? Really, we going to go there? All right, start off. We just go ahead straight into it. AB has no longer have a team. He's lost $30 million because basically he said he's going back to school. Now, this is the most backwards way of doing things because typically when you go to school, you go to school to get a job, to get paid, and not go to get paid and quit to go back to school to have no money. Dude, let's be honest. When Monday came along and he didn't get his check from neither the Raiders or the Patriots, why was he shocked? Like, he doesn't deserve any of it. He's had all types of crazy stuff. And even the last but not least thing, the reason the Patriots cut him is because the fact of the matter is you're sending threatening texts to another person that accused you of something. And it's like, dude, if she accused you, fine, let it go. Have your lawyers handle it. But you're sending threatening text messages to her, including stuff that has about her kid. Bruh, I don't think you'll ever get the point. Me personally, I think he should be banned from the league.
I definitely think he's bad for the league. I don't think he deserves the money, but the Patriots are going to have to pay him.
How?
Simply put, he's not on the commissioner's exempt list. He has not yet been accused of a crime. He played a game. They're going to have to pay him that signing bonus. At some point, they're going to have to pay him, and they know it. They're going to try to weasel out of it, but they're going to have to pay.
Here's the question, though. You're going to pay him from this is the biggest thing. If he did nothing and it was just another accuser and then they cut him, I get it. Yes, they should pay. But there's one key phrase. Conduct detrimental to the team. Excuse me. He did it. You sent text messages on the day, and these aren't alleged, because even his lawyer admitted it, because his lawyer was CC'd on this. His lawyer did admit that he sent these. You sent these text messages after you signed with the Patriots, which is a huge violation of the contract. Now, you know the Patriots probably have more ironclad clauses than the world allows about AB because of his past. It's like pretty much he was on basically zero tolerance, and he crossed it. So you're going to threaten a person, and you're going to threaten a lady, knowing right now the Patriots are still kind of, they're still kind of the media hype. That whole Robert Kraft thing kind of died out just because it was in the summertime. We're during the football season. We'll probably be talking about that every other day. But, you did it why should we pay him for him being stupid? We told you, don't do nothing. If you have 50 accusers, let it go. Until you go to court, until you plead your case, until whatever the judge says, it's fine. But you're sitting there threatening a person, that's an automatic violation. Bye-bye, cut you, we ain't got to pay you.
I understand, man, but I'm on Pro Football Talk right now. This was posted yesterday by Mike Florio, where it says that eventually the Patriots are going to have to pay him this money. Basically, it says he did not commit a forfeitable breach under the terms of the labor deal. Thus, the Patriots will have to fashion an argument based on, for example, Brown withholding information as to the threatened sexual assault and rape litigation from the team. They're going to have to pay the man.
All I'm saying is they don't have to show that contract thing because I'm pretty sure the Patriots lawyers, albeit I'm not a Patriots fan, they can't be that stupid to go ahead and let someone like Brown have without having clauses involved.
Bro, they didn't have a choice. Because
they had to have a choice.
No, they didn't. Because they didn't want the Chiefs to get Antonio Brown. They didn't want the Saints to get Antonio Brown. They didn't want the Rams to get Antonio Brown. They didn't have a choice. That's why they made the move, and now they're just going to have to pay him because they made the move. They signed the contract.
The only thing is, they may give him 5. Okay.
Yeah.
They may give him 5. Maybe.
That's what he was owed on Monday.
I still would have went to arbitration. Like, yo, we'll have to sit there with an arbitrator. I'm going to give you my side, you're going to give me your side, and we're going to see how the fuck this going to work out because I'm not paying.
Bro, we're not going to collectively bargain this. In the labor deal, you have to commit a breach that is forfeitable. This was not a breach that was forfeitable. So unless they have specific language that said if another accusation arises or if you retaliate against these people by sending text messages, they got to pay this man. They let him play. They signed him. They let him play in a game. They got to pay him.
But conduct detrimental to the team.
What conduct? He wasn't. They knew of these accusations before they signed him. This was conduct detrimental to the team before he became a Patriot.
But the Patriot, those text messages were sent the day after he signed with the Patriots.
Well, I don't understand how my text message is detrimental.
You're on Patriots Watch sending threatening text messages.
Listen.
See, the thing is, the girl got smart. She's not going to the Patriots. No. You go to sports. She basically wanted to do if you're going to threaten me, I want to destroy your career. So this is what she did. She was smart. She went, she said she don't want no money, except for I think the money she owed for doing the paintings in the house. But she doesn't want any money. She is not trying to go ahead and make a book out of it. All she wants is the money she's owed for doing the paintings in his house, which is obviously no good because he's selling it. So those are the pictures in Pittsburgh. And 2, to stop threatening me. And she even said, they even had the article saying, I don't care if you threaten me, but when you start putting my kids involved with it, which in any situation, even though me and you don't have kids, but we have spouses, yo, you threaten my spouse, I'm going to be the public route. Now, me and you personally, we probably go in and whoop his ass. But for a woman case like that, I'm going to take it another way. I'm going to go ahead in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just send it to Sports Illustrated. Sports Illustrated produced it, publicized it. It was on literally probably the same day. And boom, there it is. If he didn't send the text messages during the Patriots Watch, I get it. But he sent those messages specifically. Now, everything dealing with Brittany Taylor before, yeah, they can't get on him about that because this was all previous to him being in Patriots blue and red. But those text messages were sent a day after he signed with the Patriots. So that's saying that's on their watch and that's their issue.
So America,
they have the right to say boom.
So America, the analysis is don't screw over Pittsburgh or J-Dub is going to do everything he can to keep you from your money.
Facts. I don't give a damn. Facts.
All right.
Go ahead and screw me over. You ain't getting paid. Damn that. We all going to be unhappy at this mug. I like that.
All right. So we're done with Antonio Brown. Rest in peace. I hope he doesn't play football again this year so we can stop talking about him. Moving right along to our somewhat breaking news, Melvin Gordon is reporting to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, bro. That's what happened. Here's the thing. Melvin Gordon didn't have a strong enough case to hold out like Le'Veon did and like some of the other backs did previously. Melvin Gordon had one tremendously great season. Other than that, dude's always been hurt. And if you know my rant, and Perez, you don't know this one, Big Ten backs always make me nervous, Le'Veon included, because they run the ball so much that by the time they get into the NFL, they are never healthy past maybe the first 3 to 4 years. And it's been proven. Most of these running backs, except for maybe Ezekiel, who's an exception to the rule, most of these Big Ten running backs have not lasted. Melvin Gordon is another one that if you pay him all this money, he'll be on IR the next day. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If I was San Diego, I wouldn't pay him either.
It's Los Angeles, and
I'm
honestly,
still calling it San Diego. San Diego Jr. versus Los Angeles Jr.
honestly, Melvin Gordon has a very good luxury, and we're kind of seeing that as witnesses because with or without Melvin Gordon, the Chargers been able to run the ball. The Chargers been getting production out of that running back spot. My running back one now is Eckler, okay? So I kind of don't want Melvin Gordon to report, me personally. He can stay his ass at home. For more than one reason. Obviously, I'm a Chiefs fan, and he's going to the division rival. He didn't have a good case. I think he's got a great line. Obviously, you can see that because anybody they hand the ball to back there is able to run for 5 yards a pop.
Nice line.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to get paid in the open market.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think him returning means that that the Chargers may pull a trade for him? Like
yeah, absolutely.
But he has to report because he got to pass his physical.
Yeah.
Maybe sit down the game, and then he's trade bait before the trade deadline.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Absolutely, because they have no need for him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So why bring him back when you got Eckler and balling, then you got Justin Jackson from Northwestern, who actually did it pretty good because when they played us last year, he actually had 124 against us. He's not bad, and I've seen him in college. He's not bad either. So why bring Melvin Gordon where he's going to want top dollar? Because even if you pay him, even if you don't give him Todd Gurley, Le'Veon money, he's not going to accept just a $5 million deal. He's still going to want to be paid as a top 10 running back.
And I don't know that he is one.
No, if you're just basing it off of last year, yes. If you're bidding over his whole career, no, he's not. Because, once again, he can't stay healthy.
I can see the Eagles swinging him if they can get him for a second-round pick.
No, not while Miles Sanders is balling like that. Jordan Howard, yeah, he's not doing as much. Miles Sanders is actually playing good.
Who's a running back away?
Say it again?
Who's a running back away? I think a running back would make a significant difference in Tampa. Get some of that pressure off of Jameis.
Yeah, but who is Tampa starting running back? That would make sense.
Yeah.
We're not gonna give up no picks for him. Not no high picks. I seen in the newspaper the Steelers did show interest, but it wouldn't be anything higher than a fourth or fifth round.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I couldn't see the Steelers doing that, especially for a running back that's often injured. Right.
So yeah, we're not gonna go ahead and deal with it. Like you said, the market's kind of saturated. We keep saying the Texans, but
what about Seattle?
Don't have. No, because Chris Carson is actually pretty good.
He fumbled twice last week.
Yeah, but he's also still second in the league in yards per carry. It's just the thing is, the Seattle's offense is so sporadic. One day they run the ball out. They're like the wannabe Patriots. One day they may run the ball 47 times. The next day, Russell is throwing 40 times. So you can never predict with them. So I wouldn't put that much money into it either. Or not a high pick for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a third, obviously, right? Or they have an extra third. No, they don't have a third, for Jadeveon Clowney trade. So, I mean, if they ask for maybe a second in 2021, I may budge, but other than that, no.
The 49ers are 3-0. Who's their running back?
Matt Breida.
Okay. Couldn't they use Melvin Gordon?
No, because they got Breida, then they got McKinnon on IR who's supposed to come back next week. Or a week after next. So you got.
If he's on IR, he's not coming back to week 8.
Nah, well, he's injured, but he's supposed to be back by week 5 or 6. I seen it on the report because I thought he was coming back this week to play against the Steelers, and they said he's out for another 2 weeks. Again, if you're going to put the money into it, it comes down to this: you can trade it. The trade is easy. The money isn't. Yeah. He wants to get paid, and that's the issue. It's like, okay,
listen,
who's going to sit down and tell this dude, like, yo, you're not getting the top tier money. Maybe $8 million will buzz off of it, but 15 or 16 or dude, you're not getting that. So let that go.
Listen to me. Just listen for a second. I'm Tampa Bay. Drew Brees is hurt. Atlanta is, yeah, whatever. If I get this guy, I'm 2-1 now. If he's anywhat close to what he was last year, with Drew Brees being hurt, I got a real shot at winning this division.
So, but here's the question. What pick do you give them? Because San Diego holds all the cards. They could go ahead and put him on PUP and let him sit the whole season.
And then you just pay him for nothing. You pay him for nothing.
Pay him for nothing.
And you get nothing out of it, but you get nothing out of it because you're not going to franchise him just because he might sign the damn contract, and now he's against your salary cap. So you're not doing that.
I agree.
So
the biggest question is are they going to go ahead and trade him for a number? They're not going to get a number one, and that's what they're holding out to. And
if you let him walk in compensation, you get what, a third-round pick?
Right.
So if Tampa comes with a 2. I'm just saying. If they come with a 2, it's better than what you're going to get next year. Because you're not, like I said, you're not going to franchise him just because he might come and sign the $15 million contract and you lose that cap space.
That's very true.
So
I think the biggest thing is right now, Tampa's afraid of 2 things. If they trade him for a number 1 and he gets hurt, what happens if that number 1 ends up being? It's a really scary thing for them. If they weren't in a half-ass rebuilding team, they may be able to pull that trade. Like if it was the Pats or, sad to say, I'd actually say Green Bay if Aaron Jones doesn't pan out before the trade deadline. But a team that's a more playoff-based team, if they do it.
I'm just saying I'm 2-1 with Jameis Winston. I don't really have that back to take the pressure off of him. This guy could be that. Drew Brees is hurt. Atlanta is sketchy at best. Carolina, yeah, Kyle Allen errors began. Yeah, I would do that. You're right. Anyway, so
I'm scared. I have to say it like this. I'm afraid because of his injury history. If he didn't have an injury history like he did, I would be with you to pull it. But I'm afraid as a GM
I'm just saying a number 2. I'm not giving my number 1. He's still a running back.
That's the thing. That's what LA wants. They want a number 1.
Again,
they're not budging out for that number 1.
Well, again, they're going to get a number 3 next year because you're not going to franchise him. You're going to let him walk away, and you're going to get a number 3. So instead of getting a number 2 now, while you can get it, you're going to settle for the number 3 because that's what you got. That don't make sense.
Yeah, I agree, but not to mention the fact also Melvin Gordon's playing this game just like we talked about last week, where he has destinations where he wants to go, and I didn't hear Tampa as one of them.
Bro, he better go where he's needed.
I did hear Miami though.
Bro, if he'll go to Miami, he'll go to Tampa.
To me, I would be more safe to say go to for Miami to pull the trade than Tampa.
Bro, Miami sucks. Miami sucks. If he goes to Miami, if you would prefer Miami over Tampa, I got some sand to sell you down in Galveston. Because I understand the scene, but we talking about which team is closer to being, competitive. It's Tampa.
True.
All right.
But we'll see.
So, out in New York, Eli Manning was benched, and Daniel Jones got his first start. How'd that go?
His shot, I got to say, I was shocked. I was totally shocked. Because I was on the bandwagon to say, look, the Daniel Jones pick, when he got drafted, was way too high. I watched Daniel Jones when he was at Duke play against Pitt. He didn't do nothing against us. Actually, he had 2 picks to one game, 1 pick the other one. I seen him play against other ACC teams. It was nothing spectacular. It was like, all right, this kid's probably good for a system, but when you're a New York Giant, there is no system except give the ball to Saquon.
Who's hurt?
But he had yes, and this is where I'm actually going to go with that one. Now we got to see how Daniel Jones is going to play because one of the biggest weapons you have is outs. But he looked great against Tampa. He did. Now, imagine Tampa has 3 injured players on their defense, including their number 1 pick, White. But, hey, it's how you play the game, and you take advantage of whatever they take advantage, whatever the other team doesn't have. But this definitely officially puts Eli Manning's career in a coffin. He's done. Retired.
Wow. So we're done. The Eli era is officially over, is what you're saying. It's done.
Yes. The Eli era should have been over maybe about 3 years ago, to be honest with you. But now, yeah, it's definitely done.
So let's talk about Tampa and that loss. How did they lose that game?
One, they don't have a strong enough cornerbacks. Their corners suck. Jameis plays okay, but I do want to say this. He played okay this game, but he was forcing that ball to Mike Evans. Mike Evans did go off. He had 6 catches, I think 175, 3 touchdowns, a hell of a lot of points in fantasy football because I played against him and I got killed.
But that's what you do to a number 1 receiver. Like, that's what every quarterback does. They force the ball to their if you have a legit number 1, you force it to him.
I agree, but here's the thing. Now I don't double team him. I'm just going to double team Mike all day.
Yeah, that's true.
The other factor is I don't think Tampa's defense actually did good. They're almost like, sad to say, like the Steelers. Our starting 5, or starting 7, they're okay. They're good. If you find that ball in the air, and that's what happened. Their corners just was pretty much opening the gates. Like, good morning, Daniel. Welcome to the NFL. We're going to let you go ahead and get a pass. And they did. Because that's what it was. So they came back, and it was just Daniel Jones started throwing the ball more. Yeah. But then he ran it on a couple plays, which is very surprising as well.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that mobile.
Well, I believe he's 23 or 36 in that game last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal game. Especially, I'm with you. I didn't even know who the guy was. It's the Duke quarterback. Why the hell is he being drafted so high? That's what I thought. He played really well. It's one game. Tampa isn't exactly the strongest defense, and let me correct their record. They're actually 1-2. They were a field goal kick from being 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, that they missed. Insane, right? But he was 23 of 36, 2 touchdowns. He ran the ball 4 times for 28 yards. He had 88 quarterback rating, 336 yards. That wasn't bad. I mean, it's as good as you could expect. Eli probably would have been like 20 of 35, and it would have been at least 1. It may have been 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, or maybe 1 and 1. So, Eli was always the lesser man in any way. All right, moving along to Los Angeles Rams news and Todd Gurley.
I hate to say it, but the commentators are right. There's something wrong with Todd Gurley. Everybody's saying it's load management. There is no such thing as load management in football. You have 16 games, not 82, not 100 and some odd games. It's 16.
But if your home run hitter is more valuable to you in the playoffs, and you just really need to keep him in shape during the season, because just be honest, you're that much more superior than your peers. Why not put him on the pitch count?
Let me ask you a bigger question. Why did they put him on? It seemed like they put him on the pitch count during the Super Bowl. That's the game of all games, and he didn't play that much.
Well, it's clear he was hurt then.
So they put him on the pitch count, let Malcolm Brown shine. That's fine. I just don't get it, because why don't they just hold him out, period?
Because he's not hurt.
Okay.
He's not hurt now. When you do a pitch count, it's to prevent injury. And that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to prevent injury.
They're doing a hell of a good job doing it, because I don't get it. And it's really killing me because I got him on fantasy football. But Malcolm Brown right now is and I didn't pick up Malcolm Brown. My best friend did. Which is killing me.
Yeah, he killed me last week. Remember I did that trade for him, and I started him, and he got 3 freaking points.
Yeah. So if they are going to pitch count, that's fine. I just don't. For some reason, in the long run, I just think unless the NFL is going to start being like the NBA and having this trend of doing pitch counts and all this stuff for
well,
their superstars.
You only do it when you're that much better than everyone else.
But are the Rams really that much better than everybody
So who'd
else?
they play last week?
That's a good question.
Let me look. I was just here. 1 second. Who'd they play? Rams. The Rams. They played Cleveland.
Yeah, that was the Monday night game. Come to think about it.
Yeah, they played Cleveland.
Sunday night game.
So Cleveland's defense
They're solid with Mal Garrett and I forgot the one linebacker's name. So they have a solid
they have a
defense.
solid front seven.
Right.
Who he was going to be running against. So he was going to get beat up a little bit that game. But their secondary is a little weak, right?
Yes. They only have one good player on the secondary, and that's the kid from Ohio State. That's good.
So why not attack their secondary and give the guy a day off, or not a day off, but some rest? That's not really your game plan anyway. You know how you're going to beat them.
So basically, this is the sign of things to come for the Rams.
Maybe the Rams.
We should expect.
What's his name? The coach.
McVay.
Yeah, it may be a new McVay thing. The young coaches changing things up. You see how it's done in the NBA, where LeBron only plays 30 games a year, and he's the GOAT.
That's because that's LeBron. LeBron is running the NBA for that. That's the mess.
All right. Last of our headliners is going to be out in Carolina. I kind of touched on it earlier, and J-Dub said what he told me before.
I told you this last week. Cam Davis number, bro. And here's the thing. I was wrong with the quarterback. I didn't even remember Kyle Allen played. Side note, Kyle Allen went to A&M, transferred to UAH, didn't do good at UAH, couldn't start over Greg Ward nor De'Aaron King, which I have a rant about him, but that's probably for another day. Now kids want a red shirt because their team suck.
Don't you love that rule?
Oh my God, it's killing me.
Yeah.
If you ain't hurt, you shouldn't red shirt. But anyway, I thought Will Greer was going to start. Allen starts and shines. I said, ooh, that's definitely not good. So not only did you get an undrafted free agent that he balled out last week, but now you got the hometown kid sitting there behind him as well. And I'm like, yo, Cam come back, and Cam has shoulder, back, and foot injuries. See, I thought it was dealing with his shoulder still that he had him out, but it's his foot now.
Yeah, I told you the shoulder looked great. The shoulder looked great.
But then he also had the back injuries too, because in the preseason they said he was having back issues. Regardless of the matter, whatever injury Cam has, the only reason why I'm saying I wouldn't be shocked if Cam gets released or traded, whatever the case may be, is because they didn't bring in Cam. That was a whole different ownership. Everybody but the coach and Cam himself has gone from that team. Everybody. And if they want to start winning, they may look another direction. My only problem is with this, could it be the same thing? You still didn't give him a lot of weapons. And Kyle Allen, like you said, it's only game 1. It's not like he got a lot of, like he's been in game 10 or game 11. You still only have one weapon, and at this rate, Christian McCaffrey, y'all going to kill him before the season's over unless you bring in somebody.
Oh, yeah. I think McCaffrey, his shelf life is 4 years tops the way he's being used.
Yes. Yeah. Way too much.
Yeah. All right. So those are our headlines. I don't really have anything to add other than I don't think that they're going to – I don't know how they move on from Cam Newton. I don't know with Kyle Allen. I
will say this. They won't beat the Texans tomorrow. I'm going to say that. I'm going to go out front and say it right now. They will not beat the Texans tomorrow.
Well, so you got your first pick out the way. You got the Texans tomorrow.
I'm going to put that on blast right now, man. I'm going to go ahead for it.
Yeah.
Go be saying it.
All right, you got your first pick out the way. Hey, I'm
The fake news.
I'm 2-1 on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only time I got it wrong is when I picked for you. I just thought I'd add that.
I'm also 2-1 because I told you against the two teams. I said that. So, no, I'm 1-2.
Yeah, I'm 2-1 picking your games. All right. Speaking of Steelers, Mason Rudolph.
Mason looked good. For the second week in a row, the only pick he had was off of somebody's fingertips, which drives me crazy. Which I can't figure out. I watched the replay of the game, kind of. I watched the fourth quarter when he threw, the third one when he threw the pick. I don't know if he's a gunslinger, like he's like on that Brett Favre-ish where he's throwing it hard and they're not catching it, or the two receivers that had tips. One was Moncrief the first week, and then the other one's the rookie Johnson this week. Or do we need to go ahead and talk to the hands team again? Did Clark passing away really affect our receivers not catching? Because that's 2 interceptions that kid should not have. I can see if he painfully just threw it straight to the defender, but he didn't. They were both tipped. He did a solid effort, 176, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, ran for 36 yards. Okay, it was solid. Considering the fact is we could have won, and we were up in that game. We were up by a touchdown up until fourth quarter when James Conner fumbled the ball for his second lost fumble in a row that game. Second, he had 2 of them, and which cost us that one because it gave him field advantage, and of course they scored. I'm okay with it. We eventually got to go to turn the keys over, so I'm not as mad as people saying we're going to need to draft a quarterback. Well, we got a quarterback, and let's groom this kid and see what he can do. Because not even Big Ben himself was coming out the gate as this superstar quarterback. He had to develop over time too.
I mean, I would have thought you were hoping he'd be a little more accurate. He was 14 to 27.
Yeah, but he was also running for his life on it. What the thing is with him, he was doing a lot of scramble. He wasn't in the pocket long, so I don't know if that's his game, if he's trying to change his game. Because when he's at Oklahoma State, a couple of games that I've seen, he mainly stayed in the pocket. He wasn't elusive. He wasn't on some Steve Young, Drew Brees younger type stuff. So I don't know why he was rolling out a lot. And actually, let me rephrase it. He wasn't scrambling for his life. He just did a lot of rollouts. So.
Well, that's not him. That's not him. He didn't call the rollout.
But he's doing rollout plays, like he's throwing on the run. Not. There's a difference between sitting in the pocket and seeing that the pocket's collapsing and rolling out to run, or hike, then start running to throw on the run, like it's almost like a screen.
Is he being flushed?
That's what he did. But he needs work. I'm gonna give him that. But I like what I've seen for the shortcoming, but he's going to have to develop a little bit more. If we get a whole season of him getting hit, understanding NFL defenses, he'll be fine.
How long has he been in Pittsburgh?
This is his second year.
This is second year. You drafted him, which means
drafted him as a third-round pick, and he was a third stringer last year.
Which means they have a scouting report on him. Why did it take them to the second half to get to his strengths?
That's a good question.
That's not him. That's coaching.
Well, I've always been the first one to say I'm not a fan of Randy Fisher or offensive coordinator. I'm not. I honestly, and I hate to say this, I actually didn't mind Todd Haley. Problem with Todd Haley was 2 people who really controlled the most of that offense, which was AB and Ben. Because it was quick. When we struggled, Todd Haley always got thrown under the bus, specifically by Ben. Lord Jesus, every time. But in the same note, actually, Ben threw every offensive coordinator under the bus, even the great Bruce Arians he threw under the bus.
So Ben throws everybody except for Ben under the damn bus.
Well, I've said that myself. I told you he's not a leader. But, again, AB did too. But the thing is Todd would spread the ball out and not specifically have AB as a target. the tight end, this, that, and the third. So going back to what I told you last year, a couple years ago, a couple years when Vic was there and Haley first got there, Vic would purposely spread the ball around because also he's a left-handed quarterback, so he would go to his strengths. Sometimes he's even cutting across the field. AB hated it. Going back to this offensive coordinator, I don't like it. I honestly was like, yo, you had him, two factors. One, the Steelers needed to keep Mike Munchak because although he was the offensive line coach, he was a former NFL coach, not to mention he kind of was like the offensive coordinator assistant because Randy Fisher is not it. And if anybody gets fired next year, it's him. Sorry. We need somebody that can go to our strengths and not go ahead and think everybody's going to be bump ball like Ben is. Not everybody has a pump fake. Not every quarterback is 300 pounds and can take a hit like that.
I mean, but you have a head coach that's got to adapt, and he's got to know his players. And for him not to know Landry's strength going into that game, I'm sorry, what's his name? Mason. For him not to know his strength going into that game, it doesn't make sense. He's been there 2 years now.
Tomlin got to go ahead and admit that he needs to go ahead and give the keys up. Even give it to. We have an offensive coordinator, former NFL coach, Ray Sherman. Ray Sherman was one of the ones who was under your guy in the early Philly days. And
wait. You said Ray Sherman?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Was under your guy for a couple of years and then had his own head coaching job when we got to Green Bay. Remember the black coach in Green Bay, and that didn't last long.
Yeah, about 10 minutes.
I don't even think it lasted 2 years. I think it was just 1 year. But anyways, to make a long story short, we have that, and I would rather Tomlin. Tomlin's too dedicated to his guys, and that's the problem. You can only be dedicated to a fault. If me and you are on the same team, I'm the head coach and you're my offensive coordinator, and my offense is struggling, and I know it can be successful, even with a bunch of young players, it could be a lot better than what it is. Either we need to have a come to Jesus meeting, or your ass needs to be going ahead and finding workforce solutions and finding another job because it ain't going to be here. And I'm hoping Tomlin gets that point because if he does get the point, we could probably pull out another couple of games. We got Cincy coming up. And for the first time in probably ever, I'm actually kind of like, yo, Cincy can pull this off. Like they said, we're 60% chance favorites, and I'm not. I'm like, nah, man, it's up to 50-50 even at home. Just because the fact of the matter is we don't have an offensive identity right now.
I have a question. This is about Mike Tomlin. If you're a general manager right now and Mike Tomlin was available, would you hire him to be your head coach?
Yes, because of his pedigree.
What? I mean, what has he actually done?
He's been to the Super Bowl twice.
He inherited a team that was talented enough to win a Super Bowl.
So let me ask you a question.
And since then,
I love when people say he's inherited a team. Yeah, I get it. So what happens if they brought in another coach and they didn't do the job? Because one way or another, you still got to manage talent.
I got you there. I got you there. But how's his management skills been the last few years?
That's because you know what he did. He let Ben basically run the show. Let's be clear. You want to know who the offensive coordinator is the last 2 years after Haley got fired? Was Ben. It's not Fisher. It's Ben. Ben called the plays, i.e. last year. Let's bring this to surface. When Ben called out AB in that game where he said, I would rather throw the Juju 100 million times than throw the AB, Ben basically messed it up. That was the Denver game when the defensive lineman got the interception. Well, we're on the 4-yard line. The 4-yard line with like maybe 15 seconds to go in the game. That was Ben. Because Ben could have – the offensive coordinator called a run play to Connor. Ben audible said we're going to do a pass play. Basically, damn near the same fucking play that excuse my language, the same play that killed Seattle in the Super Bowl. Ben wants to do it. Why are you throwing it on the 4-yard line? That means either A, you don't trust your running back, which in that game Connor had over 100 yards rushing, or B, you want to go ahead and be the glory hog. So you go ahead and force the ball to AB running a slant in the end zone, which, side note, AB is a great receiver, one of the greatest, but he's only 5'11", and you're going to go ahead and try to roll a slant to a 5'11" guy in the end zone versus throwing it up high to Juju, who is 6'1", with a 40, throwing it up high and let him go for it, or go to your 6'8" tight end, and maybe he can catch it. Praying for, but at least I would attempt to do that.
You want to know why they went with the slant with AB? Because they've been playing the Chiefs too many damn times. Because it would have worked against them.
True. But they force feed that, and that's what I'm saying. Tomlin, this offseason, if he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach beyond 2021, he needs to go ahead and figure out his coordinators. He gets a pass on of course, the wide receiver coordinator right now, because Ray Sherman was not doing nothing. He was actually, from what I read, he was doing high school football or something like that. He was completely off the radar for them to bring him in. But Tomlin needs to evaluate all his coordinators, and he needs to find the identity of this team. But that's the problem. We'll run the ball 10 times, and then all of a sudden we're passing it 10 times. We don't have an identity yet, and we need to figure that out fast. And they need to figure out the running game fast now, because James Conner, who is clearly hurt, his knee is not together. He is the opposite of Todd Gurley. He's instead of, they spreading the ball around between the three running backs, they're giving it to James, and it's not working. And for the first time, I'll say we may have to bench James. I hadn't said it all season long, but we may have to, because we can't lose games like this. We had that San Fran game in the bag, and James had a costly fumble.
So my question to you is, over or under 6 wins for the Steelers this year?
I say we go 7-9.
So you're going over?
Yes, I'm going over.
I'm going with the current pace, and I'm going under.
So where do you have it?
6-10. I think if it gets horrible for you, it's 4-12. Well, I think 6-10.
Yeah.
Huh?
The only thing that's good for us going right now is the rest of the division sucks too, outside of Baltimore. And even Baltimore showed.
Bro,
we'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about that. Because
Baltimore showed.
I got some.
They're not as good as they are.
Yeah, I got some commentary on Mr. Jackson. I'm just saying, I got some commentary. He's a hell of an athlete, but I got some commentary on Mr. Lamar Jackson. All right. So Mason Rudolph, solid, 14-27, 174, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He had an 18.9 quarterback rating. I'm blaming coaching, because if they had let him play to his strengths last week, Mason Rudolph would have probably led y'all to y'all's first victory of the season against a team that came in there undefeated. I think
I
it's.
agree. Plus, we didn't have a deep ball. We didn't go deep but twice.
Well, in the second half, and he's good at throwing the deep ball.
Yeah, that's the strength.
Yeah, that's coaching. That's why listen, I know you like Tomlin. I like Tomlin because we both like him, because you like him because he's the Steelers head coach and black. I just like him because he's a minority, a black coach in the league that seems to be having fewer and fewer of them. His last few years has not been something that I think represent being a minority head coach well enough, because we have to do better than everyone else. And he's not done that the last few years. That's the only way we get jobs, is we're just that much better than everyone else.
That's for damn sure. Because at this point, who's left? We only have, maybe 2 or 3 minority coaches in the NFL right now? After Bowles got fired.
You got the guy in Miami, Flores. He's going to be fired in next week, probably. Yeah. You got Tomlin. Where else? And
then Ron Rivera, Hispanic.
Yeah.
I think that is it, my dude.
I think I think that's the cupboard is bare. So of course we want to see. I want to see Tomlin succeed. He missed the playoffs last year. He's gonna miss the playoffs this year. I don't know that Pittsburgh is gonna be able to bring him back another year. And we can blame it on Roethlisberger and all that, but 2 years in a row out of the playoffs, and then this one, you're going to have your first sub-500 year. It's getting worse, not better. You were supposed to get better by alleviating your locker room of Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. That's not what's happening.
But here's the thing. With the Le'Veon Bell situation, that wasn't his call. He's backing his GM, but that's the GM and management. He didn't sit there and say, don't pay Le'Veon. He just sat there as back and management, because if you really look at the interviews, every time it kind of got to it until Le'Veon wants to go on every social media platform and then everything else to dog the Steelers. Basically, Tomlin kept saying, well, I'm going to back management and we're going to do what we can. So basically, he was taking a diplomatic approach like, yeah, I really do want to keep this kid. Because remember, Le'Veon Bell, if anybody really knows, and there's an article on that too, when he was getting scouted, Tomlin, there was only 2 coaches. Tomlin was one of them. I don't know the other one. I can't remember. That went to his pro day, their private workouts, and the combine, and loved Le'Veon. So, and defended him when he was caught with weed with, what's his face, the punch-out guy, LeGarrette Blount. Yeah. I think AB, he was cool with dropping. He couldn't. I think after a while he knew better. I think Le'Veon he wanted to keep. So honestly, if you're going to get rid of everybody, you also get rid of Kevin Colbert. You want to talk about cleaning house? You're going to clean house then. Everybody.
I don't mind that. I'm just saying that's a proud franchise, and
that's also our time. Sometimes I'll be realistic. I'm an honest person when it comes to this. Every team, think about it. This may be our first losing season since 2001.
Yeah.
Going back to 2000. Going back to way back to the Cowher years. And the city was patient with Cowher for years. Now, I do say this, you're right about it. Simon's black. So the city's going to have less patience. And trust me, with the power of social media, I see it every day.
In addition, Cowher was from Pittsburgh, too. So it's more than just the black-white thing. It's not
think about it. We had 98, 99, 2000. No, I'm sorry. 99, 2000, and like 2002, 2003, something like that. We had about 3 or 4 seasons where we were either 8-8 or under 500. Thusly, the only reason why we got bent in the first place is because I think we went 6-10 the season before. Other than that, we would have never been in a position to get them.
Yeah, and Cowher was highly sought after too.
Right, and I've been ruling with myself like, hey man, look, the football guys sometimes are going to sit there and say, yo, it's your time. Yeah, it's time to rebuild. You can't keep, after a while, not every team, unless you're the Patriots, who, Lord knows, I can't even explain their chemistry, dynamics, or whatever. Sometimes you got to go ahead and rebuild. You know what I mean? You can't always make it. So this is our rebuild time. This is why I said this is the year Tomlin starts coaching.
But
he has to.
But here's the problem with that idea. This is not a guy that was brought there to rebuild. He was brought there to win, and it seems like winning time is over. And if winning time is over, can the guy that has never lost now become a teacher? Because he wasn't a teacher. He was just a coach before. If you're a losing team, you're more than a coach. You're a teacher. And it involves patience, and it involves a lot of praise to young guys that's going to make a lot of mistakes. This isn't a coach that was bred that way. This is a coach that's been successful since day one. Can he adapt to such that role that now he's a rebuilding coach? I don't know that he can.
That's what we're going to find out. Nah, this is what we got to find out. So the whole question you just asked is what we're about to find out.
Okay.
Can he have the patience to develop these players? Because, again, now we've gone from one of the oldest rosters in the NFL to now one of the youngest.
And it's not just his patience, though.
Now, yeah.
Will the city, will the team, will the organization have that patience?
I'm going to say this. They did with Bill.
Again, Bill was a local kid. Not kid, but he was a local. That was he left Kansas City to do.
Give a damn if you're local or not.
They do. especially in small markets like yours and mine.
Dude, trust me.
Bro, every time you talk about
in the 90s,
every time you talk about James Conner, you talk to me about the local kid. Every time.
But it's different when it comes from a player, especially a player under his circumstances, to come out to be what he is. Technically, your average person that had cancer would not be playing in the NFL right now. Well, this kid beat all that. So they want him to succeed just because of the background he had. He went to Pitt. He came back. Cowher, they had patience with, but again, when the Boo Birds came, the Boo Birds came. I've been in that stadium, especially in my high school years, where they were booing the hell out of the Steelers and fire Cowher, fire the Chin. So it's not surprising. Plus, I'll be honest with you. One thing is with small market teams, they have less patience than the big market teams. They're ready to fire. They're ready to go ahead and move on like immediately.
You got a different small market than
Tomlin for years now. When we went 13-3 2 years ago, they were ready to move on for Tomlin.
Oh, no, they've been. That's what I'm saying. Are they going to have the patience? And I'm not on this Fire Tomlin campaign. I just want to know. The NFL is about trends, and his trend has been down for a few years. That's all I'm saying.
Well, he's a black coach. His trend's been down for a while.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his win-loss record.
Well, yeah. If you go from,
the last few years,
12-4, 10-6, 13-3, 9-6-1, and now we start off 0-3. Yes, you're correct. It's going downward.
Yeah.
It's going down like the stock market when Trump got elected.
Whoa! No, we're not doing that.
But again, we got to see. That's why they only gave him a 2-year extension. I didn't know that till a couple of days ago that Colbert only had a 2-year extension. So that could mean the cleaning of the house in 2 years. We'll see, though.
Yeah. All right. Moving off of Mason Rudolph and Tomlin, Minka Magic, your new safety, played well.
Fitzmagic, the real Fitzmagic, stepped up.
Well, both of them lose, so it doesn't matter.
Well, one's a quarterback that is constantly losing. He's been on several losing seasons.
Well, and one
Ryan Fitzpatrick just collects jerseys left and right. Minka, hey man, that I was impressed. He had a forced fumble, an interception, 5 tackles, 2 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Am I saying he's Troy Polamalu? No, I'm not.
Oh gosh, why would you even do that?
People have done it already.
Why would you do that?
I've read the news articles already. I've seen these people on social media. I'm not that stupid. But he's a definite upgrade from what we had at safety.
Exactly, and that's what you say, but really?
No, I'm not calling him Troy Hill. I'm not calling him Ryan Clark. But again.
Can he just be Minka?
Correct. Can he just be Minka? Huh? I just liked him because the fact of the matter is he balled. He came in with a work ethic saying, hey, I'm here to play. Let's get this going.
He left one shitty situation to another one, and hopefully this one's a little less shitty because the owner didn't racist too.
Correct. And that's what I'm supporting.
All right. He did have a stellar game. I don't believe we're going to anoint him or even mention Hall of Fame caliber players with him after 4 quarters of football in the black and gold. I think anyone that decided to even mention that name with him is absolutely insane, way premature. That's just like calling Patrick Mahomes the GOAT now. That's stupid. And I'm the biggest Mahomie of all of them. That's just dumb. He's not the GOAT yet. So
he's not. He's on a good pace, though. Good Lord.
We're going to talk about the pace. We're going to get there. But come on, man. That's why Troy Aikman had his panties in a bunch this week, is because we like to compare these people who have played one game. So let's not do that.
We're in that, but you know what we are? We're in that type of microwave society where we're going to go ahead and judge off of a game or two to say, hey, these guys are Hall of Famers. I mean, let's be honest with you. Last year when Saquon Barkley went off and did what he did, they started comparing him to Barry Sanders. And I was like, wait, guys, hold your horses. Let Saquon be Saquon. Saquon is still not the biggest Barkley in sports right now, and y'all already deeming him to be the next Barry Sanders.
Bro,
how many guys
but the problem with that is Barry doesn't get the love he deserves. Barry is the best running back in the history of the National Football League, and I think it's time we all that actually know this began a campaign so he can be called what he is, the rightful greatest running back to ever play football.
But okay, let me ask you a question. Outside of Cowboys Nation who's delusional, who would sit there? There's only two people that can.
Cleveland.
I will sit there with Jim Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland fans are delusional as hell too. But there's only two running backs in NFL history that y'all can call the GOAT. And I'll sit there and be like, yep, you right, true.
You're talking about Sweetness and Barry. Yep, Sweetness and Barry.
There's only two. Everybody else you can't have an argument with. Those two, we sit down and the old head come up and you say, Sweetness is the greatest. Okay, cool. I got you. And another person say, Barry is the greatest. Okay, cool, got you. And then someone says, Emmitt Smith, kill yourself.
We will get to the Cowgirls real soon. I've been waiting to do this for a long time, since like the 90s. So, yeah, we getting to the Cowgirls real soon. All righty.
Yeah, this is the most delusional team in NFL history.
So,
the most delusional fans.
Yeah. So, we are not anointing Minka in the image of any other safety. I can deal with Fitzmagic because the only thing synonymous with Fitzmagic at this point is losing, and they are both still losing. All righty. I'm just saying.
One controls the ball, one can't.
And
one has to go after the ball.
I'm just saying. The only thing synonymous with Fitzmagic to this point in the NFL is losing. That's it.
Where's his? Oh, never mind. He's in Miami. Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, they were on team. All righty. You kind of went into it earlier. You want to wrap up your topics with the Steelers before we go into your recap or preview of next week? You want to wrap up the topics with James Conner?
Conner probably needs, I'll be honest with you, to reevaluate his knee. But if he is not panning out, because right now he's only averaging 35 yards a game. Mind you, he got hurt during the Patriots game. But if it's going to be like that, we need to go ahead and put in the kid. We need Benny Snell. We need a change of the guard. And then I really want to see what Benny Snell does. I mean, he was third-team All-American, first-team All-SEC that did not play at Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, but actually played at Kentucky. For him to be All-American and didn't play at one of the big four, actually, and LSU, one of the big four in SEC, that's commendable. So let's see. Let's get the key into the car and see what this kid can do. If it doesn't pan out, then, okay, yeah, we're running back-wise, we are not going to be nowhere near where we used to be, but let's might as well see.
All righty.
And then it's a change of style with it anyway. He runs different than Conner.
So you're moving on from James Conner. What about the local kid and the local kid and the local kid? Are we over the local kid? Are we just trying to win football games now?
The local kid is hurt. That's the problem. He had knee issues last year. That's what caused him to miss the last 3 games of the season, which we could have won one of those games, specifically the New Orleans game. That clearly showed. This year, again, he's having knee problems. It clearly showed in the Patriots game. He's running he was running real gingerly against San Fran. That's what comes first. I'm rooting for the local kids for 2 reasons. One, he's alumni. You know, that University of Pittsburgh, shout out to us beating number 15 UCF this past weekend. But more importantly, I'm pulling for the kid because I really want him to succeed. But if he's hurt, he can't succeed. We just talked about this earlier with Todd Gurley. If you're going to put all the weight on him, and if he can't run or if he's not healthy, then why use him? Same thing in theory.
So you're not giving up on him, but you're not.
I want him to be healthy. If we can get him to be healthy, then it's a different story.
You're no longer being patient with his health. I meant to ask you, with his cancer treatment, did he go through chemo and radiation?
Yes.
Yeah, he's never going to be healthy, Justin.
He looked good last year until he hurt his knee.
Until he got hurt again.
He looked great.
Yeah, he's never going to be healthy. Like, listen, the things that stuff does to your body, like playing in the NFL afterwards, you're going to be injury prone.
But not to mention the fact, you did forget that he went through chemo. He didn't go to the NFL right after the chemo stuff. He went back to Pitt and had a 1,500-yard season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 1,200 yards rushing or 1,100 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving. Had a great one. Now, the only thing I do say about this, they did local kid too much. He got picked too high. He went third, and he should have probably went fifth or sixth. I'm just being honest with that one. He went too high. But the pressure he mounted on himself, because I know what he's doing, just looking at how he was. I follow him on IG, but looking at how he was playing during the preseason, he was treating the preseason games like they were playoff games. And he was running hard, and he didn't need to. But that's Tomlin pulled him a couple of games, and I was looking like, yo, man, this kid is still he needs to be down, and he's still trying to push to get the extra yard. It's a preseason game. No one gives a damn if you win or lose. And you already got a spot on the team, but he's playing so hard, maybe because of practice matter, the pressure of he has to prove himself because he had to prove it last year. And now he really wants to prove it this year because ESPN every 5 minutes, specifically Max Kellerman, is always Le'Veon this, Le'Veon that, Le'Veon this, Le'Veon that. Lord, if you can't get off of Le'Veon's jock, please. I mean, I'm thinking Le'Veon's paying Max Kellerman to say his name every day. And Le'Veon's not doing that great for the Jets right now. I'm just saying. He has a touchdown, great. But he's not exactly, like, killing the league. But, again, he's playing too hard. And if he's going to kill himself by doing it, he needs to just sit his ass down. And that's just what I'm saying with it. Cancer treatment or not. He needs to sit down. If he's unhealthy, then he needs to sit down and get healthy. We need the other two guys to step up, and Samuels and Snell.
Well, anyone that wasn't listening, here's the synopsis. In the NFL, cancer patient or not, you either produce or you're at home somewhere.
True.
Local kid or not. All righty.
True.
I think Connor's okay. I never would have made him. I would never. He would have never been my feature back. I would have went out and made a move. He would have never been my feature back.
I don't think the Steelers was really planning on him to be the feature back so soon either, but it is what it is.
Unless my offense is like the Chiefs, then he can be my feature back. Because we don't.
Anybody can be a feature back.
Right. We don't run the ball like that. We just need you to be able to run when we give it to you. And I don't know how the hell.
Have y'all used the season already?
We used 3 last week.
So, I was about to say, y'all aren't like that fit.
I know last week we used 3, at least. And I technically 4 because I believe Mecole Hardman had a carry also. So last week, 4 different Chiefs outside of Patrick Mahomes had a carry rushing the football. Next week, you all have probably the worst Monday night matchup in the history of Monday Night Football. You should get one of those 6 victories that I said you would get as you host the 0-3 Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, we'll win that one. I'm confident in that one.
Oh, you'll win that one? They're starting quarterbacks healthy.
Because Andy Dalton had a good game against Seattle, and since that point has not been relevant again.
We'll
Even though you must like Andy.
No, I don't like anything about the Bengals, okay? I just don't understand what this organization is doing. I think the NFL probably should have forced whatever ownership group owns this team to sell a long time ago.
Here's some facts.
They've been bad for a long time.
It's owned by one of the oldest owners in NFL history, Paul Brown. Paul Brown was actually the original. They were the original Browns family. And then they, for whatever reason, they left and made the Bengals. 2, they cheap. Want to know how Marvin Lewis lasted 13 years and had maybe 2 coached on the NFL. And now the kid that they brought in, he's one of the top 5 lowest paid coaches in the NFL. They don't pay anybody.
You can't run an NFL team like Walmart.
That's what they're doing.
But you can't.
That's what they're doing. And actually, you're giving them Walmart. That's being graceful.
Okay, Family Dollar.
I would say Foodorama.
I'll stick with Family Dollar.
Everything is discount and horrible.
I'll stick with Family Dollar. Overpriced tickets. Overpriced, bad, awful, and only really seem to want to appeal to people that don't give a damn about winning. Why do the fans still buy tickets in that city?
Because there's nothing else there.
I mean, but
the days of when
why waste your money?
In the days of the universe, go ahead.
Why waste your money?
Hey, somebody got to salute to something. Look how many years let's give this city that we live in a very prime example. Another spouse is going to hate this. But how many years did the Texans suck? But they were sold out every game.
Because they hadn't had football in years.
They were terrible. They were the only, and they weren't the only thing in town. You actually had formidable years with the Rockets. The Dynamo weren't in effect yet. And the Astros sucked. So you had 2 teams that sucked, but the love for football was there.
Because they had lost a team. Any city that loses a team is going to try their hardest to make sure it doesn't happen again. They had already lost a team. So,
and you're also from the state of Ohio, which the state of Ohio loves football more than anything until LeBron got there.
Yeah.
The state of Ohio loves football. Cincinnati
if you love football, the best way to affect change is to not buy tickets.
You're talking to the fan, but here's the thing. You're talking as a fan that's not from the city of Cincinnati.
And I'm telling you, if I was first off, we all know that there's no reason to have a small market mentality in the NFL. There's not. Because of the revenue sharing they do, all these owners are making humongous amounts of profit every year. So there's no reason at all to be cheap running one of these teams. So as a fan,
that's ownership.
As a fan, you got to take action. You don't lose for 20 years in the National Football League. And if you do, that's a problem. So I'm not going to buy a ticket. Now, I'm a Royals fan, and I bought tickets.
I was just about to go there with that.
I'm going there for a reason. I'm going there for a reason. The Royals were bad because the revenue sharing in baseball sucked. It is nothing like the National Football League where there is no small market team in the National Football League. Even though Pittsburgh and Kansas City are small markets, there are no small market teams in the National Football League because of the revenue sharing. In Kansas City baseball, the revenue sharing is so horrible that my team sucked from the 90s until 2013. The only person that ever predicted a winning season between then was me on a freaking Ask the Royals in 2001. So there's a difference. You can buy tickets and support your small market when the league isn't helping them, like Major League Baseball. But in a National Football League, where whether you sell tickets or you don't sell tickets, you are getting paid. Mm-hmm. The only way to affect change in that owner's mindset is when he can't get a national televised game because he's got 10 seats filled. That's the only way to get his attention.
Here's the issue. The NFL is always going to give the losing team a chance to be on national TV. They're going to spread that word.
Let me tell you something.
That's one factor. So like it or not,
I guarantee you that will be a road game if there's only 10 fans in the stadium.
Because look at the Dolphins. So let me ask you this. Can you say the same thing about the Dolphins?
They've just had bad luck.
The Dolphins are beyond sad, and that team, that coach, that owner does not give a damn.
I don't think that's the case. They've just not been able to figure out quarterback.
Bro,
and it's not from a lack of effort.
Look how many people are sub-owners of the Dolphins. Serena Williams, D-Wade and Gabrielle Union, The Rock.
All that is well and great.
Stephen Ross gave them all little – because he don't really give a damn about the team. I could say the same thing about Jacksonville, but the fans and the actual team itself care. The owner
I wouldn't say that about Khan in Jacksonville. Khan is
Khan don't, because Khan makes his money. His revenue is based off the soccer teams.
He is a very competitive man who is a very shrewd businessman. He wants to win.
The same businessman that a couple of years ago was trying to get the team to L.A., but the NFL stopped him.
Why did he want to go to L.A.? Because he wants more money.
Right. You didn't care about wins or losses, but you got to. If you go ahead and say I sell a losing team and say, "Well, my team goes to this city, they'll start winning," it sounds a lot better.
Well, listen, they've still been a very formidable team. The Jaguars put on a competitive game every time you see them play, except for
the Bengals do every 5 years.
Once every 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a new trend right now with that coach. That coach, they'll let him last a couple of years because of the trend with McVay, but he won't be in the league probably.
If those fans did what they were supposed to do, there's no way. All right, so
they'll bring Marvin Lewis back.
I don't know who to pick in that game. I don't know who to pick. I'm gonna go with a tie.
This is our home game, and I think we will. We had signs of life. We should have beat San Fran. We lost because of a fumble, and at the very end, and that was it.
Can my pick be a tie?
No.
I mean, it's an option in the NFL, but it's an option in the NFL now. I'm just saying.
Okay, go ahead and pick the tie. Go pick the tie. Lord, we don't need another one. I was mad that they had a tie this year in the NFL. I was like, really? Is this 4 years in a row they've had a tie?
Yeah, we playing one of the teams that had a tie. We got the Lions this week. I didn't even know who we played. That's how bad Anyway,
going quarterback Matthew Stafford
going into Kansas City, and Justin actually got to pick these topics out today. So let's have a little fun. Troy Aikman took a little offense to people comparing Patrick Mahomes' touchdown passes to his. So he tweeted out, "Talk to me when Patrick Mahomes has 33% of my world championships." All right. I'm going to stretch out a little bit because I'm about to do this one, okay? Mr. Aikman, please. Let's stop for 1 second, please. In your second year as a starter, were you in the NFC Championship game? Since we want to compare apples to apples at this stage of our career, was he in the NFC Championship game his second year as a starter?
When was he in that?
That was a resounding no. Let's go to his first year as a starter. Let's compare because
he went 0-14 or something.
Yeah, let's compare. I got these stats up. Hold on. His first year as a starter, Mr. Aikman line read like this. He attempted 293 passes. He completed 155 of those passes for a whopping total of 1,749 yards. His touchdowns to interception were 2-1. Interceptions to touchdowns, I should say. That's right. He threw 9 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. His passer rating that year was 55.7. I'm sorry. Do we want me to bring up Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starter? Because I can give you those stats. Oh, I don't need to bring them up. He was the MVP of the league. He threw for 50 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Oh, wow. Jesus, let's compare 1 year over 1 year. Not a career, Troy. I'm just saying.
I do say this. I'm starting to realize that some of these Hall of Fame guys are extra sensitive. But can I ask a question? Why would they compare Patrick Mahomes to Troy Aikman? Out of all the quarterbacks in NFL history, from the start of time to the most recent ones, the current quarterbacks now.
Because the guy is in the Hall of Fame. And a Hall of Fame quarterback. No. What they're saying is one of these guys that they called great and they put in the Hall of Fame, Troy Aikman, after a freaking 20 games, Patrick Mahomes has 33% of his touchdown passes for a career. That's all they were saying. They were just putting a number out there.
If I was going to compare anybody as that's in the Hall of Fame currently, the Patrick Mahomes, why don't they say Brett Favre? At least Brett Favre put up higher numbers. Troy Aikman has 165 touchdowns in his whole career. How many years was he in the league? Like 11?
12.
Like 12?
Yeah.
So 165 touchdowns in 12 years. So you're not even talking over 15 touchdowns a season.
Yeah, you want those numbers?
So
I got those numbers too.
But just before you go there, Mahomes got 60 touchdowns in 2 years.
You want to know you want to know Troy Aikman's career high in touchdown passes?
If I'm gonna go off on a limb, I'm gonna say 15.
Oh no, you're way short. I thought you were gonna say 30. At least give me 25.
Nah, I was gonna go 15.
It was 23.
Michael Irvin's never had. That was one of my problems with Michael Irvin getting the Hall of Fame. Michael Irvin never had over 15 touchdowns in the season. Never had over 10.
Yeah.
Chris Carter had it twice. And that's why I was arguing people with why is Michael Irvin in the Hall of Fame before Chris Carter.
So why is Troy Aikman in the Hall of Fame?
Because he has 3 wins. That's why.
Okay.
He's on one of the. They consider one of the greatest teams in NFL history. Was that Cowboys in
with
the
one of the best offensive lines in NFL history, he still only had a career high 23 touchdown passes. That's all I got to say about that. So yeah, you got your rings. Give Patrick more than a year to get one. Because your first year, you won 0 games. I just thought I'd let you know that. Moving along, I'm done with
I knew you were going to be sensitive on this subject.
Troy Aikman.
Continue.
No, I'm not buying Patrick Mahomes' shoe. I don't spend that kind of money on shoes.
It's not that much. It's actually only about $85.
Oh, then I can get it. I can get it then. If it's only $85, I can get it. But I'm not. If I don't buy LeBron James $250 shoe.
No. You wouldn't buy anybody NFL shoe. I've only bought one person's NFL shoe, and that was Michael Vick, and that was when he was in jail. The shoe was only $50 at that point.
Wow.
It was on sale. So I was on top of that one. I actually still have them. I just use them to work out and every blue moon. But I just thought it was interesting that Mahomes had his own tennis shoe. I was like, wow, okay, all right.
So
he's the feature on East Bay. Okay, cool.
Justin's point is, and my point in telling you his point, is that Justin is a Mahomes hater. Because now Justin is bringing up yet another potential curse for Patrick Mahomes. I believe, Justin, this is now your 3rd attempted curse of Mahomes this season.
I've only had 2. The Madden curse and the Adidas stuff. That's it.
No, you had another one.
Taco Bell? No.
I don't know what it was. Anyway, so now he's trying to give me the RG3 curse. Bro, get off of Mahomes. Just ride the fact that for the first time probably in the history of this league, we got a semi-black quarterback that is going to be the best player in this league.
Now, for the record, I want the kid to succeed. I just like having fun with you because your passion for your quarterback is astounding.
I've never had one.
You had Alex Smith.
I've never had a quarterback.
Alex Smith, Warren Moon, Joe Montana. You had a quarterback.
I have never had a quarterback.
Steve Bono, Rich Gannon, Trent Green. You've had quarterback.
I've never had a quarterback. Never had a quarterback. So now I have a quarterback.
How did Tony Gonzalez get out of that yards with y'all? He had to have a quarterback throwing the ball, man. Come on.
Why did Tony Gonzalez get all those yards? Because they couldn't throw it anywhere else. Because they
can't.
He
hadn't had receivers.
What?
Derek Alexander, Johnny Morton, y'all receivers were terrible back then. I'm just saying.
Listen, sir. I've never had a quarterback.
You had a running back and a tight end, and that was it.
And never had a quarterback. I had a shell of Joe Montana. I had Warren Moon on his walker. Trent Green.
Alex Smith went to the Pro Bowl with y'all.
Trent Green was my best quarterback, and somebody took his head off, and he was never the same again. Alex Smith, Captain Checkdown. Actually, I call him Captain Field Goal. He's Captain Field Goal. If you need 3 points, he's got you. But if you need 7, well, you might want to put in your backup.
Pro Bowls for y'all. So I'm saying you can't slight him.
I have never, bro. I believe at one point Elvis Gerback went to the Pro Bowl. What the hell does that mean?
Gerbeezy. Yeah, Jesus. He did, because that's when Baltimore picked him up, and he didn't do nothing for Baltimore.
And Steve Bono too.
But I'm saying you had a quarterback.
No, I have never had a quarterback. I had a shell of Joe Montana, and I had a sprinkle of that magic, but it was just a sprinkle. He pulled his hamstring, and it was over. Alrighty. So Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens came to Kansas City, and so far our only home game so far this year. We're going on game 4, and it's still going to be my only home game so far this year.
Yeah, a shitload of them coming towards the end of the season.
I don't know if that's supposed to be a penalty for going to the AFC Championship game and getting robbed. I don't know. But Lamar Jackson, I think, is a fraud, and I don't know who's been lying to me the last 3 weeks. Okay, everybody made it seem like this dude was going. He was gonna go blow for blow with PM15. This dude is trash.
Yo, that's kind of strong, considering the fact he won games. Here's the thing: he has a winning record. He's not your typical quarterback. So again,
he's a running back playing quarterback.
They said the same thing about Michael Vick.
No. Michael Vick was a quarterback who happened to be a hell of an athlete. He just couldn't control that cannon. He never could harness that cannon. And Lamar Jackson has that very same issue.
You're putting him we were talking via IM. If you're comparing him to like Tim Tebow, okay, yeah, Tim Tebow had issues, except he did win. But Tim Tebow never had a deep ball, and his accuracy was pretty much null and void.
So
this kid can develop accuracy.
When
he has a deep ball.
When
he has that.
Where?
He's going to have to develop it soon.
Where?
He's winning.
Where's it at?
Forget about it.
Where's it at? Where's the deep ball? They should have won that game if he was somewhat similar to accurate.
Did you not see the 2 plays he did to Marquise Brown, which were both deep balls?
When?
He did 3 deep balls. He didn't do it against Shaw, but the previous 2 games, he went deep on them.
In Kansas City against a defense that was somewhat showing up, because I believe that was against the Dolphins, right? Oh, okay.
The Dolphins, and then what was the other team? It was the second game of the season.
Arizona?
Panned out pretty well, too.
Arizona.
Yes, the shootout.
Yeah.
And that was a shootout.
Yeah. The 2 most top-notch defenses in the league, right? Yeah. Anyway, when he had somewhat, and I don't even give the Chiefs this kind of credit defensively, when he had somewhat of a defensive team out there, when he threw deep, it was 10 yards overthrown, with the exception of 1 deep pass. He wasn't close, Justin. He wasn't close to being accurate on these deep passes. And he had guys. These guys were open. I won't call them wide open.
Much of the Chiefs game, but there were plays. They said when I was watching the highlights on ESPN, and the commentator said that there were times that the young wide receivers for Baltimore were running wrong routes, messing up the game.
Yes.
So now I didn't see the game, but when we had Sparks and a couple of the commentators, Spears and D. Wood, when they saying that, hey, there may be some validity to it.
Bro, they didn't run the wrong route on the fly. Bro, these are deep balls I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a miscommunication on a slant or a hook or a double move. I'm talking about flat out goals, and he's overthrowing the ball by 10 yards. It's not even close.
Did he throw for his life?
No.
Did he throw for his
No.
But So, I mean, he had all the time in the world to sit
I'm not
there,
saying he had all
chill
the
out,
time in the
eat a
world, but he
burrito.
had a respectable NFL pocket. And even if you are getting hit, you don't overthrow by 10 yards consistently, Justin.
But have you watched his game?
I watched
not,
that game against a somewhat respectable team.
Okay, here's your problem. Here's your issue with this. And I didn't watch much of the KC game. Here's the big issue. Lamar Jackson's best throws all season long, for the exception of one against the Dolphins, he was outside the pocket. Y'all collapsed that pocket in where he can't run, y'all are going to be successful. And y'all did a great game plan. Y'all collapsed the pocket and he couldn't run.
These are excuses, man. He's a quarterback.
Excuses is reality.
He's a quarterback. Quarterbacks get paid to be in the pocket. That's the only way ultimately.
Not every quarterback is PM 15.
I'm not saying he's PM 15, but
approach.
I'm not saying, dude, this guy is not good, and he shouldn't be a starting quarterback in this league. He is a running back. He is a hell of an athlete.
He's too small to be a running back. He will get murdered.
He's a hell of an athlete, and he can make you miss. But he has no business playing quarterback.
Now, is he Cam Newton, the next Cam Newton? No. Is he the next Michael Vick? No. But I do think
Then what is he?
Has a future.
Because Vick wasn't very
I think
accurate.
He has a future as a quarterback.
I want him to.
He didn't just.
I want to root for him.
He didn't just show for shit for no reason. Now, I still to this day will say this. He got drafted kind of high. When the Ravens came back, and that was Ozzie Newsome's last pick as their GM, excuse me. I do think he should have fell in maybe the third or fourth round, but the Heisman sells, and that's what happened. He got it because the Heisman stole champions, and that's always going to say that.
I just want people to quit trying to sell me a bill of goods calling him a good quarterback. Because no.
You do realize they still rank him in the top 10 even after playing y'all.
No.
Now, you're going to be mad at this. Where do you think they rank your quarterback?
Probably third.
Keep going.
What? You said he's lower than third?
Sixth.
Yeah. And out of the 5 people above him, who would you take if you had to win a game?
None of them.
Oh, okay.
I actually had you. Me personally, I had y'all number 1. Yeah. But he's ranked 6th. You got Tom, Dak, Aaron, and I forgot who else.
Dak is balling. Now, he's no Patrick Mahomes, but Dak is Justin. If I'm saying this, you know it's true. Dak's been balling.
But here's the question. Yeah, I get it. But I'm going to say this. They played against teams that are not. They played against the Dolphins and the Giants.
That's true. All right.
And unlike Patrick, Dak has one of the best running backs in the last 5 years. I'm just saying.
Also true. But he's been balling, even though it's against terrible football teams. All righty. I said all that about Lamar Jackson to say this. The Chiefs' defense was embarrassing to me on Sunday. This dude basically threw a punt across the field, and they somehow allowed this pass to get complete. I'm not playing. I'm not playing, Justin. I'm not joking about this. Dude was running full speed right, throws the ball completely across his body, down the field left. It was essentially a punt. And the defensive back allowed the wide receiver to catch the ball. I just don't understand.
I'm going to probably say this. Y'all want Steven Nelson back because y'all can't get him. But anyway, no. Y'all going to have to learn that. Y'all going to have to get that defense together fast, or the Super Bowl comes and y'all go against it. Because although Drew Brees is hurt, if Teddy Bridgewater just goes ahead and maintains and be the game manager and wins games, y'all will end up playing, in my honest opinion, because I think they're coming out of the NFC, one of 2 teams. I think Dallas will go. No, I'm going to say one thing, because I think Dallas will choke again.
I'm going to say this.
Y'all go against. Go for it.
I know that I'm not happy about this punt, that really made me embarrassed to be a Chiefs fan because it was a punt. It was a punt. They're getting in better position, and I can honestly see that. I like Rashard Breeland. He's going to get beat some because he's not very fast, but he's physical. I like him.
But he was solid as a Redskin. Yeah. I actually thought he was better than Josh Norman while he was in the Redskins the last 2 years.
He's physical. He's just not very fast. So he's going to get beat deep some. I still like Ward. Ward's solid. They just got
Honey Badger though.
He played better. He really did. I think he had 3 passes defense for the first time this season. So he played better. He got his hands on one that almost was an interception. It was literally an inch from being an interception. So he played better. I think they need to fire their secondary coach again because I'm not seeing ball skills. And you got to have ball skills. And that's the same thing I told you about Nelson. So apparently he went to Pittsburgh and gotten them. So it sounds to me as if there's a coaching issue in Kansas City. So we need to figure that out because these guys don't have ball skills.
And I'm going to say this. Nelson is playing physical. I like him playing.
Oh, he's always been physical.
I mean, everything you were
he's
saying
always
last
been
year,
physical.
But just saying, he's not going ahead and most of these corners nowadays is once the ball's caught, they kind of just give up on the play or try to push him out of bounds. Like, he's still going to like kind of grab him and knock the ball out of the guy's hand if he gets blown.
Oh yeah, he just can't play the ball while it's in the air.
But I can see why Tomlin was more inept to putting Mink at safety, keeping him at safety versus trying to move him to corner. Nelson's a solid number 2. For going back to your guys, yeah, y'all can't get in the shootout for nothing. Y'all
we
don't
can.
need to get in the shootout.
Oh, I'm fine with the shootout.
Y'all can get in the shootout.
We win 9 out of 10 shootouts.
But why, if your defense just plays a little better, why give it to the point? I'm saying it like this. Why don't you give chance where Patrick can sit in the fourth quarter?
Let me tell you something.
If your defense is cool and Patrick can chill and whoever the hell y'all backup is in the game and he's not having to be playing these wild shootout games. Although as a fan I love him, but as looking at it, if I was a KC fan or even when my Steelers was doing it and Ben was trying to get in these shootouts when our defense was struggling, after a while it wears on your player.
On what players? The offensive line?
It wears on you.
Because that's the only people that's going to get tired. Because you got a bunch of guys that are basically track stars getting to run routes down the field. These guys aren't taking the hits that Odell Beckham Jr. is taking. They're not taking those hits because when they are going to make these catches, they're going in the end zone. So 9 times out of 10, they're not getting hit. These are not passes that you're getting across the middle and you're getting blasted. These guys are really running track. That's what they're doing. And if you're running track,
you want your guys always having to run track.
Why not? When you got the fastest receivers in the game, why the hell not?
So basically, you're telling me you would prefer to have a game go
60-40, Kansas City.
60-40 is a blowout.
It is going to be because listen, as bad as our defense is, they can get a couple turnovers and they can get a couple stops. And my offense, I'm confident, can go down and score points on every single possession because them guys are just that damn good. It's just too much talent. That's why I don't want Jalen Ramsey. Because the Chiefs need to stay the Chiefs. This ain't the fastest show on turf. This is the fastest damn show we've ever seen. And I'm enjoying it. And you should too, as a fan. Because this is what the NFL has always wanted. They wanted a team like this.
As a fan, yeah. I love the best game of the last 5, one of the best games of the last 5 years. 2 of the best games were shootout games, which was us versus the Colts and y'all versus the Rams.
Oh, the Rams. Hell, even the Patriots game in the playoffs was a great game.
Oh, well, it's just my hatred of the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But listen, Patrick Mahomes is going to make the NFL billions of dollars. Because this guy has it all on that field. And it is so fun to watch. I have been a Mahomes fan for years, and I'm not talking about this Patrick. I'm talking about his dad. But this guy is fun to watch. Dude, you should just – I don't understand how you're not watching this. I don't get it because this guy is electric.
No, I watch the games. I like the scoring up and down as a fan. Like, the worst games to watch are 0-3 and 0-7.
Yeah, because I'm falling asleep.
But if I was a true diehard like you are with KC, I'm sitting there like, yo, when can we go ahead and stamp our foot on his neck so my guy can rest in the fourth quarter? Some of the best games I honestly like with my Steelers, like against, of course, Cleveland when they were the lesser tier, and Cincinnati, is when we blew their asses out and we got our backup coming in playing, our backup running back, our backup quarterback, because the fact of the matter is our guys are resting, so they're not taking as many hits.
So,
like it or not, your offensive line is the first one to get tired, which makes your quarterback more vulnerable, which can possibly get your quarterback killed. I'm just saying.
Have you noticed the last 2 weeks the Chiefs haven't really scored in the second half? Because they really haven't needed to. They haven't needed to. They haven't needed to. The last 2 weeks, most of the Chiefs' scoring has been the second quarter. Their defense gives up a couple early, then they settle in, they get a couple stops. Patrick Mahomes in the offense does, what they do. And the second half, they just kind of hand the ball off. You want to know why 4 different running backs got carries last week? Because we were just handing the ball off, waiting for the end of the game, because we had enough of a lead that we didn't think they were going to be able to come back. They came back a little closer than we would have liked, but we took our foot off the gas.
Yeah, for running back by committee now.
And it's okay because all of them are averaging 5 yards a pop. Who cares?
Yeah.
So the Chiefs
y'all could have kept Spencer Ware for that matter.
Yeah, the Chiefs got the Lions this week in Detroit. Is Detroit for real at 2-0-1?
No.
Okay, Chiefs are gonna win this game. Alrighty, moving to the Texans to close out our show. What's going on in Houston, Justin?
Hey. Deshaun Watson is showing more and more that this kid was worth the draft pick, that he is the truth.
I like
Watson.
I mean,
everybody a lot of people hated on him, said he should have fell in the second round. Some people even said third round. I remember Merle Hodge went on a rant saying he's good he's a good college quarterback. This kid is showing he's real. At this point, realistically speaking, outside of Warren Moon, he may be the greatest Texan quarterback now. Texas. That's Texan and Oiler.
Hey,
he's shining.
Wait. People were saying that because when the Chiefs traded up, that's who I thought they were trading up to get.
Dude, they had that particular draft. They had Watson going in the second round. They had Mahomes going late. Mahomes was slated. In fact, I remember the mock draft because we always do bets on the mock draft amongst co-workers and friends. They had Mahomes in one mock draft going to actually the Cincy. And I was like, didn't watch too much about Texas Tech football. I don't watch really too much of Big 12 football, to be honest with you. But I know a Big 12, if a quarterback from the Big 12 is shining, that's pretty good considering the fact is this kid from the highlights of the team wasn't just a spread quarterback. And most of the quarterbacks that came out of Texas Tech, they're all short. Mahomes had size and had speed and had a cannon. So I was like, I don't think he's a second rounder. I don't think he should be sitting on there for the Patriots or something like that or contender. So when y'all traded up to get him, I was like, well, okay. And then when Deshaun, the only reason I was shocked that the Texans, and you're going to probably agree with me, the Texans traded up and got Deshaun Watson is we would never think in our history they'd get a black quarterback.
Yeah, nobody thought that. I didn't think that. Because
honest to God truth, realistically speaking, they should have did that years ago when Vince Young was available. They should have gave up on David Carr because by that point he was done, and they should have went after Vince Young instead of going after Mario Williams. Now, hindsight, neither one of them had a great career. Mario lasted maybe a couple more years than Vince, and Vince had a drastic breakdown. He may have not been built for staying at home. That might have actually been worse. But for the Texans to get a black quarterback, trade up to get a black quarterback, and look what it's doing. Now, it cost Rick Smith his job, which is still jacked up, but look what's happening. Winning.
Yeah, and in spite of their coach. I think Deshaun's going to be great. Like I said, I thought that's who the Chiefs – I was actually a little disappointed when they picked up Mahomes over Watson. That's who I thought they were going to get. But then I started saying Patrick Mahomes' name out loud. Then I had to look it up and see that it's the kid of Pat Mahomes. Oh, okay. I can get behind this. Yeah. So I've always thought he was going to be great. He did great in college. I think he's going to win a championship as soon as they get rid of Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Everybody's like, well, Bill O'Brien's the quarterback guru.
Not
yes, you were
at all.
You were a quarterback coach for – I always keep saying it. Yes, he was the quarterback coach for the New England Patriots. But everybody remembers when Tom Brady was cussing his ass out.
Yes.
So, to me, that's not saying you were that. That means you're expendable, and Tom was probably like, hey, you know what? I'm Tom Brady. I'm Tom MF Brady. You need to go ahead and fall back there, son. So, I really do think if they ever get a coach to fit Deshaun Watson, the way he plays, and give him a line.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing with the Texans. They need to. You know who's out there? Why don't the Texans trade? I mean, they don't got too much else to trade, but if they could try to, they need to talk to the Redskins and got Trent Williams. So you need protection.
Can I tell you something?
For your kid.
Can I tell you something that I just kind of realized? Teams, I think the Chiefs, slick-sided, were probably the most well-prepared team to do what they did when they drafted Patrick Mahomes. Because they had built their roster for a Patrick Mahomes. They had Tyreek. They were paying Sammy Watkins. They had, at this time, Kareem Hunt. They had a team that was built to go vertical. And then they went and drafted this kid. And, yeah, I say all that to say this. The Texans have not built this team around Deshaun Watson. They've made Deshaun Watson fit to this team. And
they based it off of a traditional quarterback. Yeah. That's the problem.
And until they build this team around Deshaun Watson, they're only going to be halfway fulfilling their potential.
Yeah, I agree with you with that because that's all they did. They based it off of a traditional quarterback.
Yeah.
Not someone that can run, not someone that's mobile. But then the smart thing what Rick Smith did was this also. Why not get the quarterback that threw the ball to your guy in college? Now, the Steelers are trying this experiment right now with Rudolph and James Washington. But D-Hop has had multiple quarterbacks throw him the ball. Fitzmagic, Schaub, I'm probably missing Case Keenum. I'm probably missing like 30. But why not get the kid that was when Deshaun was a freshman and D-Hop was, I don't think he stayed off 4 years. Whenever the case is, there's a 2-year gap between the two. But he threw the ball to him. Why not have that? Why not have that cohesive chemistry? They know each other. They grew up technically in the same system, and it's working. And I think Rick seen that was like, yeah, we need to get him. And, yes, I'm going to bank my job on it. And he lost his job on it, but still, it's working.
Yeah, he's looking like a genius.
Tomorrow, they can win this one.
He's looking like a genius. He won't be out of a job long.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's just chilling in Houston right now, but I'm pretty sure he'll get picked up sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him in the black and with the Steelers, but that may be too much authenticity for one team.
Right. The Texans still don't seem to have a running game.
Can't figure that out, bro. I keep telling you, you was like, Carlos Hyde had a solid game. Okay?
He did.
That's one.
I mean, but the Jags are a great defense, and they played great. The Jags played great defense last week.
I agree. Totally agree. But again, here's one strength that a mobile quarterback can do that your guy he's done a couple times. Play action. How do you sell a play action if your guys can't run? And here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to have a 2,000-yard back or a solid. You're proving that right now in KC where you have a multitude of backs where they can sell the play action, it can sell a screen, it can sell plays like that. The Texans can't do that. Because I'm just sitting there and saying, you're right. You're going to go ahead and run the ball and think you're going to get 5 yards against me. Yeah, check that. Your Deshaun has to be. And if Deshaun has a bad game by any means, the Texans will lose automatically, easily.
Well, here's the big problem with the Texans and trying to use Deshaun's mobility is the fact that they don't protect him when he's trying to pass. So he's taking way too many hits. Now you really don't want him to run because he's getting hit when he passes.
That's all factual.
Yeah, so you can't really win there. I mean, he should be running because that's part of his game. But if he's getting beat up in the pocket, you want to expose him to more contact?
No, and that's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, they got to do something with that running game. I still think Carlos Hyde might be okay, but you got to make holes too. You got to make holes. So Duke played well. Oh, my manager wanted me to let you know he's no longer a homer since he fired Duke Johnson. So I put that on the podcast for my manager because he wanted me to put it on the podcast that he's no longer a homer.
That's true.
Texans.
Wishing upon a star.
Hey, did the Texans really win that game?
No.
Because I think that the Jaguars coach went for two, and they could have went in overtime.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
The Jags coach is going to get fired this year, like it or not. Because you do not.
Why?
Yes, you do not give it to the guy that is cold.
No,
Leonard Fournette did nothing in that game.
Yeah,
it was all mustache. Stash was killing. If he was going to go for two, you put it in Stash's hands, and if it didn't pan out, at least you gave it to the high hand. You gave it to Leonard Fournette, and then you go ahead and put it on a draw play. And I'm like, you do realize the Texans' front four is actually pretty solid. There are not no slouches with J.J. You got Whitney pretty much playing.
Lights out.
Down lineman.
He's going to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Right. And then you have McKinney who I looked at it like, what made you run that play? Like, out of all the plays, then the thing is, it was crazy, is they called a timeout. So you see the defense set. And then they get back in the same set. I watched it twice. Watched the replay like 3 times. I was like, wait. They get back and they set the same defense again. They didn't even try to change. It was we're going to run the same defense.
Bro, some of these head coaches and their egos. Because Andy Reid did the same thing on the 4th down, and it really pissed me off. Sometimes it's these head coaches and their egos. Like, you need to be able to get 1 yard. Nah, the hell with that. Do a quarterback sneak. Don't hand it off. Get out of your freak. Quit being cute.
Look at her the day before yesterday. Look at the Redskins game.
Bro, that's because Keenum thought he could fly.
Case Keenum is 5'9",
and he thought he could fly.
You put him behind a 6'9" lineman, but you have Adrian Peterson. You have this big old back who's 6'3".
But bro, how do quarterback sneaks work? When they are successful, they are because the quarterback got low and beat them to the spot. That's how they work. Very few work over the top. The quarterbacks that work over the top are, let's be real, black quarterbacks.
Right.
Okay. So that's just stupid. Or Ben Roethlisberger, because he's like 300 pounds.
That's facts.
So it's stupid. It was dumb. Like, he had a really dumb football game last week. Like, completely, like, he's a really smart guy, but that was a dumb football game. I've not seen a quarterback play that dumb in a long time. All righty. No,
Yeah,
bro. He was
no,
awful.
no. I got to take it back. 2 years ago, Ben Roethlisberger 5 picks.
Even
I always bring that up.
no. Ben was careless throwing the ball. This dude, like, in the pocket, basically dribbling the damn ball on the ground because he's stupid and don't want to tuck the ball away. Like, you know you're being harassed. Put the damn football away. And then you tell me that Dwayne Haskins can't do that? Like, if Haskins can't do that, then Gruden needs to be fired now because you wasted another draft pick on another quarterback. Because if you telling me that Haskins can't do that, then they need to fire him now.
Gruden is not with the kid because he didn't draft him. Management and ownership wanted him and told him, you got to coach this kid. Dre Gruden right now still does not want Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad to say, but it's really true.
Well, Jay Gruden knows he's on his way out, too. He's going to be fired soon.
He should have been fired last year.
You know, he's going to be fired soon. If they lose this game and get embarrassed, I think he'll be fired Monday, especially if he still doesn't put Haskins in the game and they're losing badly.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He did a job playing under his brother.
Anyway, the Texans have this week who?
Carolina tomorrow.
No, it's not tomorrow. Tomorrow is hold on.
Yeah, it's Thursday night game.
No, it's not. They're Sunday at 12. They play Sunday at 12 in Carolina. The Thursday game.
No, you're right. It is. You're right.
Oh, I did it again. Oh well. The Thursday game is Green Bay and Philly. I got Green Bay. I think Philly sucks. I think Carson Wentz sucks. But I've said that all along.
They're at Philly. I'm going to say, I'm going Green Bay.
Yeah.
That's because I can't stand Philly. I got two obnoxious friends that are Philly fans that still bring up their Super Bowl and can't get off of it. So I'm going to go with Green Bay just because of that.
2-1 Texans hosting the 1-2 Kyle Allen-led Carolina Panthers. I go Texans 32-21.
I go Texans 24-10.
I'm giving y'all a tie 16 each.
Yes.
Really?
Against this, really?
Yeah,
really?
I'm just saying. I'm giving y'all a tie.
Cincy versus us. I'm going us 24-15.
Okay. And who you got? Chiefs or Lions?
I'm going with y'all.
Score
42-17.
Yeah, I don't think Darius Slay is going to play
right now because I have Matthew Stafford. I'm not a quarterback like my fantasy football is bad on the quarterback tip too. I got Matthew Stafford who I drafted, and I picked up Teddy Bridgewater, and I'm like, and I got Mason. I got 3 quarterbacks, and it's like old Mother Hubbard. I don't want none of them in the cupboard. But I ain't got no other option.
I need to see if I can trick somebody into taking Todd Gurley and give me a real damn running back. Anyway, I'm Casey Reginald Jr. This is the homie.
This is your man J-Dub, a.k.a. Justin Waters.
This has been Underdawg Sportz. We'll see you next week.
All right, peace.